Welcome to Teach, Lead, and Expire, the Father-Son podcast, where father and son discuss various issues that should have already been spoken. Brought to you by Lifeline Screening and other very loyal 25 sponsors. Years change. Okay, there we go. So, three areas I want to go ahead and try to tackle today. One, I want to review Lifeline Screening because I actually did that. Me and Carolyn both went to Lifeline Screening.
Awesome.
So I want to share that experience of exactly how that went through that process. I want to do that.
Hopefully it went well. Hopefully it did.
Yeah, it did. Well, I still have some reports. It's a lot different. I think in other words, I've been seeing this thing about Lifeline Screening for years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I really didn't think it was for me, mainly because I already had my insurance. It had two phases. Lifeline's been around for a while. So before I became a teacher, I think Lifeline was still around at that point in time or just coming out. But I didn't have a steady stream of income. My income was either from independent contract work. I didn't have regular benefits.
Right.
So anytime you hear anything about medical, unless I'm dying, guess what? I'm not going because if I'm going, it's going to cost money, cash out of my pocket. So that was the first thing. The next phase was when I started teaching, and then I started getting my regular benefits. Then I already had my medical insurance and everything else. I had Kaiser. I've had Kaiser for years. I'll still keep them because they have all my medical records, all my medical history. But I just like being able to go to one place and get it done. I don't like, I've had jobs where I had medical and I had Blue Shield, and you go there and you actually go and pick out your doctors and stuff. And I just didn't get along with that system. So while I was with Kaiser has always been proactive as far as preventive medicine. And so when I first got Kaiser, the first thing they had to do is like every year, I have an annual physical. And I go through all the pre-tests and everything else. It's easy to get things like we just got our all the politics concerning COVID. So I am vaccine to the tilt. I've always been. It started out by being in the military. When I went in the Marines, matter of fact, when I went to Naval Academy, first thing they did was put you through that line and stick out your damn arm.
Right.
And then when I got deployed over to Iraq and over in Saudi, of course, then you come on down to sick bay and you're getting shot up again. You didn't ask what they were putting in your arm.
Nah.
You didn't have a choice. You didn't have a choice. You just stick your damn arm out, follow directions, and it was just yes, sir, and that's what we did because you couldn't go. And I know, especially in the Marines and everything else, when you're always training for that battle. Same thing as for his arm. You're always training for war and stuff, but then we're just stuck with the play guns. Okay, those times. Okay, and so when something really hit for the opportunity for to go in and change out the little fake bullets for the real bullets, we were all in. We couldn't wait. So, but I've always had preventive health, so I didn't see the need to. If I wanted to get something, I can go and ask the doctor. But I did find out there's certain things that they kind of drag their feet on. Because like if you wanted to get the MRI or radiation or any of those other treatments, you realize how much that costs. When Joyce was going through the cancer and started going through chemo and stuff, and I didn't worry about it because I had full insurance. We just go to the doctor, they did everything. Well, they would normally send me a bill because I actually had I had cancer insurance.
Right.
Cancer insurance, I needed to submit that paperwork to the insurance company and they would give me reimbursement. So every time she was going to get her chemo treatments and everything else, we would get a little check. And that check helped pay for her care for caregivers because I was still working full time.
Right.
But anyways, I felt content on that. So It's just here recently when I got the prostate cancer, and as we've been sharing this on the show and talking about health things, when I started focusing on my life, about living, now it became different. Okay, I wanted this other additional way of looking at our vitals, and this really actually came. Carolyn kept pushing for it, and so I'm up
Right.
here thinking that, well, I got Kaiser. I'm going to get my test from my doctors. They're uh, checking everything. I mean, with everything I've gone through from surgery and everything else these last years, I'm feeling, hey, I've already gone through everything. I know what's going on with my body.
Right.
But she's older, and there's a history in her family concerning heart attacks. Nobody died of cancer. Everybody died of heart attacks and strokes, and she's the oldest in the family, and so that was her concern. And so she kept pushing. I said, you know what? But then my mindset changed about this total health, and now I'm absorbing everything, and I want
Mhm.
data so I can look at it. And so that's why we did it. So also, I mentioned that that Lifeline had contacted us um, about their services and everything else, and this was my opportunity to go through the process. So I was able to go through the affiliate links and set up the appointment. So I went through the whole process. So first thing you did when you got the link and you go into it, it just goes to a page, and the web page uh, tells you that the four areas and everything else that they go over for the test. As a matter of fact, let me kind of share my screen here, and I'll be able to do that. There you go. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So their basic screening and everything have is actually is four preventive health screenings, and these are different. And I didn't really. I mean, I'm looking at them. This is before I went, and it says, okay, these are the four things that they want to check. uh, Artery disease, that this right here where it says this buildup called atherosclerosis,
Hmm.
um, that brought my attention because I had on uh, my last summary from my when I went to the doctor about trying to get off my cholesterol. I have an after summary report. And the same thing when I went to have some dermatology work. And I noticed that on my report, it had this as a health concern. And but my doctor never said anything to me.
Right. Another one
I
of those
don't,
things
I
where they
know
don't
it,
say nothing.
they don't surprise me. That's right. Just
They
like on the
don't say
test.
nothing until it happens.
Right. Because they will let the stuff keep going on and on and on. And then eventually, if it comes a serious problem, but then their solution is a prescription med again.
As
So,
always.
and always. And so this thing with this word here, I'm having a hard time pronouncing it. Maybe it's just early Saturday morning. But I saw that and I'm saying, shoot. And then I had to go and look up and see what this is. And it's a clotted, it's building up the plaque inside the artery. And that's not good. Because if the plaque in your artery, then the blood's not going. That causes a problem with your heart blood pressure. And that's where you get leading for strokes. And so I saw that, and when as soon as I saw that, I said, "Well, wait a minute. My doctors told me that I got it, but my doctor hadn't given me any recommendations of actions to take."
Right. Didn't tell you what to do to try to fix it or change
Right.
it.
And the question is, where is it? Where's the artery that has the clogging in it? I mean, where is it at? Is it in my arm? Is it up here by my heart? I don't know. And so when I saw that, I said, okay. I think I do need to go ahead and get this test because I saw that. Then the other one here has the aorta. Now there is the other word that was in that summary. It used the aorta. Now I know for me in my head, aorta is one
Right.
of the vital veins in your body. I
Yep.
mean, you screw up with that, you're a cook goose. Okay, so I saw that, and so I look at it and it says enlargement aneurysm. Now here's something else that get see because my mom died from an aneurysm. She
I
died when she
remember
was
you. Yep.
45. So this thing it screens the abdominal aorta for the presence of an enlargement or aneurysm. Okay. Before looking at this, I'm saying, whoa. you're looking at my stomach for something that's possibly going to cause the aneurysm. I'm up here thinking that aneurysm was because a blood vessel had popped up in your brain.
It could be anywhere.
It could be anywhere. I didn't know that. Okay. And I saw that and I said, okay. So that was two things. Then it has a peripheral arterial disease pad. Okay. Now there's something with your legs and everything else. Now, living in the 55 and older community, I
Right.
see how other people are up there walking around. They're not walking like I'm not. I don't walk like they do. And when I just came back from Anaheim at a conference here, and again I'm up there walking. I'm looking at all the old people. Okay, I'm old. I'm 71, but I'm looking at all the other gray-haired people and how they're in their walkers and everything else. And I've said, I must be doing something right to keep on moving around the way. But then I saw that they started looking when I said perform using blood pressure cuffs and arms, and I'm saying, well, wait a minute. And all the time I've been to the doctor through everything
Hmm.
else with the cancer and stuff, nobody's put any pressure cuffs and stuff on my arms and legs. Okay. I've been in the machine, I've been in MRI,
Hmm.
I've had blood tests, I've had x-rays, I've had scans, I've had radiation, but I've never had anybody doing a pressure check on my legs. And I saw that, but when I read it, I just saw the cuffs and I'm saying, what the heck is that? So I said, okay, this is different. So right away when I started reading it, I'm saying, okay, these are three different things that I have not gotten in my doctor's office. And I highly respect Kaiser concerning their preventive. Now, here's the other one, AFib. Now, when I saw this, I remembered I had a flashback watching TV and seeing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Hmm.
Okay, and he's on that commercial about the AFib, about I forget what medication it is. But I saw that. And again, AFib is something leading to blood clots, stroke, and heart failure. Okay. Those are the things that everybody here in my 55 and older community, when the matter of fact, the other thing is I'm always having ambulances come in my community, fire truck and ambulance. Why?
Understandable.
Yeah, hard. Yeah, I
Understandable.
got a whole bunch of old folks in here. Yeah. And so anyway, when I looked at this, finally started taking, I said, okay, so this is different. So I went through the process on the website. I was able to go ahead and sign up. It was very easy to go ahead and sign up for it. Then I was able to understand everything else. So as soon as we went through, I got an email that virtually confirmed the appointment. It sent me another email asking me about pre-registration questions. So it's virtually asking little health questions about background. So I was able to do that. Um, then the next thing, it because they had it collected my telephone number, so it
Hmm.
sent me reminders on my, text messages on my phone about the appointment. Got two personal phone calls from people following up about the appointment, making sure we knew how to get there with the directions and stuff. And our appointments for me and Carolyn were for like 12:50 and 12:55. So we went there. It was actually at um, a hotel. So they rented out like a conference room, and they
Gotcha. To have
had
all the equipment and stuff in there.
all the equipment
Okay.
and had the screening session. The things that are screened off in different sections. So when we go there, we get in, we have to sign in. We go ahead and sign in. That was very easy. And then the lady called us up, and she just go back and reconfirm the information we did on the pre-registration, answering questions, and then offered us some other services and stuff. And so there was one about osteoporosis that Carolyn, she saw. As soon as she saw that, she says, "No, I need to get checked for that because that's something." Again, it flagged inside her that there was
Right.
family history of it. So a lot of times we don't think about it until it's right here in front of it. So I had the osteoporosis, and they were able to do that. So we signed up for it, and then we waited. It took about 5 minutes. The ladies up were calling our names, and we would go to each little station. So the first one I went to was one that was ultrasound. So the other thing was I didn't have to take off my clothes. I virtually, if you just have like a t-shirt on, like I have right here, this is fine because the first one was ultrasound. So she actually took the ultrasound on my up here around my neck area, going up. She was actually pressing down to get to the aorta, okay, to actually look at it and do a sound of that. Then I had to raise up my shirt to expose my stomach, and then she did the other ultrasound down there. Okay, so that was the first one. Um, the next one was the next session was where they took my height and my weight, and then they also did my lipid panel. So the first, that's right. When we checked in, the lady said, "Did you fast?" And I said, "No," because I didn't remember anybody telling me so. But it turned out that they were going to do a whole lipid panel on me.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we had had breakfast in the morning, but they still took it and they gave so they did take it, but they marked it. So because
Right.
obviously, if you eat, it's going to affect it. It's going to affect the results.
Right.
Effect on it. So they did that. So go in there, but this one normally when I went to Kaiser and I'm doing my blood test, I go in and get the blood. That's very simple. But normally I don't get my results until probably 2 days. Two
Yeah.
2 to 3 days
Or
later,
more.
or that's the earliest. Okay. I've gotten it from Kaiser. That's one thing. Kaiser would normally I get mine sent to me electronically within 2 to 3 days. Whereas when I was with Blue Shield and everything else, and I go to the place, it's even like with Carolyn's. Carolyn doesn't use Kaiser. She's comfortable with her doctors, which is fine. And all her doctors are here in town. But when she goes and gets her blood work, which she just did here, it takes her up to a week to 10 days before getting everything in.
I was gonna say, me dealing with VA, definitely takes longer than a week sometimes to get test results back.
Right. So the test results. So the reason I'm saying that is because one of the parts was that they did the lipid panel. So instead of drawing blood, with the elastic thing and taking that, no, she just took a little prick on my finger, and then she had a machine that would take the blood samples, sort of like a person who's on diabetes, or a
Hmm.
person who's diabetic taking their blood. You know how they
Hmm.
prick their finger and then you put the blood on that little strip? That's what this machine did. And so she was able to do it. And she was able to give me my results in a minute. In a minute. Okay. And so I said, "Oh, wow." I said, "This is neat. I never experienced to have that done so quickly." And then there was a chart that she had, and I will make a copy of this and actually put it up. But anyway, on the chart, it printed it out. But then on the other side, it actually has a chart that shows you about each one of the tests. What are the ranges? Like for instance, for total cholesterol, it says the desirable, the borderline, and the high, and it gives you the ratings. Whereas before, when I get my blood test and I'm looking at the chart, I have to go and interpret that chart. Plus, the other thing is it just says HDL or total cholesterol or LDL. It doesn't tell you what it is. Okay. The folder that she gave me not only had my scores, it had clearly marked where everything is, where your total cholesterol, your HDL. It told you where your numbers needed to be the optimal or in excellent shape. And then it had a description of it actually had a description of each one of the tests.
Nice.
Okay. So that right there, being able to get that results right away and then to have all this information on there, I said, you know what? Now I'm getting my money's worth. Okay. Now I'm
Shoot,
getting my money's worth.
I'm just impressed when you said that they didn't have to just like draw a bunch of copious amount of blood or anything of that nature. You didn't have to get undressed. It seems like it's very non-intrusive as far as how your day is gonna go. So it seems like, yeah, you definitely got your money's worth, especially being able to get test results back that fast.
That
Oh, oh,
fast.
oh, most definitely.
So the third part, so that was the second. So the third one was the last one I did, and that's when the cuffs came in. So on that test, she actually put a cuff on my on both my arms, my left arm and my right arm. Normally, where you would normally like doing blood pressure. At first, I thought that she was doing a blood pressure test,
Right.
but she wasn't. Um, and then she put so I had to. They pulled up my pants leg and put a cuff around my calves, and that's
Okay.
when they did the pressure test. So each one of the pads would inflate and deflate on each one of them. So uh, it was measuring the pressure and stuff, the flow of blood in my body from up top to my legs. And
Nice.
that's really important because that's when the problems with the walking. I remember one of the things with Joyce, the very first sign that things that was going wrong, besides constipation, was that she was getting up off the toilet and just just had excruciating pain. And so that's when she started on the walker. Well, what part of it was that now I'm looking at she had this pad. That's exactly what she got diagnosed with. Okay. So this was a non-intrusive service. It was easy to register. They kept in contact even on the day of too. So we got another text message and everything else with directions and everything else, making sure that we knew how to get there. It was they took us in on time based on the schedule. Didn't have to do a whole bunch of stuff. I was just there. Now, the other part that I didn't know is that so the readings from the sonogram
Hmm.
and the pressure test, that information was not given to us.
Okay.
Okay. And the reason is because all those results are given to a medical doctor for the doctor to actually review. It's just like when you go get a scan, you have to have the
Right.
pathologist is the one that reviews that scan and then files that with the report. So that's the only thing
Right.
that we're waiting on. So probably by maybe by next week when we're doing our show, I may have those results and everything else. But so we can see what that time.
Okay.
But right now, I have been thoroughly pleased with. I'm anxiously waiting to see what those reports comes back to see how exactly how they're written up and everything else. And then that's also something that I give and take to my primary care because if it's something that's
Okay.
identified. But when we were there, each one of the technicians did tell us if they saw anything abnormal. And
Okay.
so,
Good.
right. And so they gave us positive reports of what they did scan. They said we don't see anything at normal on there. And that
Good.
was a peace of mind. That was a peace of mind for both of us. So
Good.
that was a unique experience. I highly recommend it. Um, we wound up spending it was like about like $300
Okay. That's not
for
bad.
things. But
That's
again,
not
it's a medical expense. You can just write, I write it off up under the taxes and stuff on it.
bad. Right.
Um, but it was worth it. But then I also had an aha moment. The aha moment was when she took my height and when she took my height and I've always been saying I'm 5 feet 11. But then when she took it, she wrote down, she said 5 feet 9. I said, no, I said, that can't be right. I
Yeah,
said,
you shrunk. Deal with it.
yeah. I said, I know. I'm saying, what the heck? And I'm saying, yeah, that was not good. I didn't like that. I said, she can't count. That's what I said. I said she can't count. I
Yeah.
didn't tell her that. I didn't tell her that because she was smart and plus she was cute. So I didn't want to I didn't want to go down that road.
See, 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 that's why I was always ahead of the curve on my ID. I always lie and say I'm shorter than what I actually am because I know eventually one day I will be.
Yeah. Oh Lord, yeah. So it says 5 feet 9. So I got up this morning. I came in. I said, "Well, I'm gonna go ahead and measure this thing." So I came in and got up there
Yeah.
and put something flat on my head, the parallel, and I marked it and I took out the measuring. And I'd be damned. That's what it said, 5 feet 9. And I'm saying, damn. I said, "Oh well, that's okay." I said, but the problem was what I didn't like about that. Because if you do your body, the BMI, and
Yeah,
as far as your weight, I've
it's
been
gonna
going
say
at
you're
five.
fat now.
I've been going 5'11". Yeah, that 2 inches, and then you look at the chart,
Don't forget 2 inches is like 20 pounds.
2 inches. It's like what? And then I started looking. I said, oh my God. So now talking about losing weight, but I'm saying no, I'm not because see,
Yeah, no, don't.
I'm doing strength work, you
Exactly.
know. And so my arms, I'm up at pressing 260. My arms are looking. I like the way my body looks right now at my age, 71 in
Yeah.
comparison. I mean,
That
yeah,
was like me when I had lost all of that weight and I realized that I too have a weight threshold.
yeah.
Uh, it, even though I'm a little bit bigger right now than I want to be, I know that I can't go below about 215, 210-ish. Anything below that, because I am 6 foot, I look like a freaking bobblehead. Like I just don't look right. And I've gone smaller than that before. Like the smallest I had got to was like 185 after I had gained all of the weight. I got down to like 185 at one point. And like every now and then I'll find a picture when I had got down that small and I was just like, oh, good gracious, my head was bigger than my body. Like, man, I can't never get that small again. Woo!
Oh,
My head
Lord.
too big to be that small.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
like I was gonna topple
So,
over. Uh, so yeah, but yeah, so I can definitely concur that whole height and weight BMI thing. I don't think it was necessarily meant for everyone, and not only that, when was the last time it was changed? Last time I checked, that thing hasn't been changed or updated in
oh,
decades.
it's decades, decades.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
And so,
Shoot,
and it does
we
make a difference,
listen.
right?
We might be closing in on this. On it hasn't been touched in almost a century. I tell you.
Yeah. You have been listening to Teach, Lead, and Inspire, the Father Son podcast. This episode isn't just about looking back, it's about building forward. With humor, honesty, and a few surprising tangents, the conversations always lays the foundation for what it means to create a lasting legacy in health, wealth, and relationships. I recommend a positive, proactive approach to living longer instead of the normal reactive, looking for a cure approach, being stuck on prescription drugs with major side effects. Therefore, I highly recommend getting an annual or biannual Lifeline Screening test. Until next time, this is Dr. Smith. Be well.
25 years chained to the loan. Principles climbing, eating marrow from bone. Deferred dreams stacked like bricks in a cell. Forbearance whispers, welcome to hell. Interest of feast, this a feast of famine. Guard at the core, your savings abandoned. Subsidized savor, now just a card. While the principal grows with predatory claws. They say it's the key to the sky, but they never teach you how to fly. Why buy a lock just to lose the key? Why trade you for a debt decree? Public service, they call it grace, but it's a lifetime race, a paper chase. The student loan trap, no cap collapse. Compare interest so the balance snaps. Subsidized lines, the wait don't fade. 25 years, the debt parade. Golden chains in a velvet box. Promises wrapped in paradox. They say they'll dream, they pay the toll. A guilty case to steal your soul. Fast forms and a dotted line. They say it's yours, but it's never mine. Math is skip, but the bills on time. The numbers climb, the mountains blind. They say it's the key to the sky, but they never teach you how to fly. Why